your seat. First of all, on behalf of Mark and Victoria, I'd just like to begin by warmly welcoming you here today on Luxors. All marriages...
He wants to do. Where are you going today, says Pooh. Well, that's very odd, because I was too. Let's go together, says Pooh, says he. Let's go together, says Pooh. What's twice 11, I said to Pooh. Twice what, said Pooh to me. I think it ought to be 22. Just what I think myself, said Pooh.
I am his vision, his dancer, his impression of beauty. This canvas my stage as I perform for you.
I, Mark,
Take thee, Victoria.
take thee, Victoria,
To be my wedded wife.
to be my wedded wife.
I look forward to sharing my life with you.
I look forward to sharing my life with you
As we journey through marriage together.
as we journey through marriage together.
I promise to cherish.
I promise to cherish,
Love and care for you always.
love and care for you always.
I, Victoria.
I, Victoria,
Take thee, Mark.
take thee, Mark,
To be my wedded husband.
to be my wedded husband.
I look forward to sharing my life with you.
I look forward to sharing my life with you.
And as we journey through marriage together.
And as we journey through marriage together,
I promise to cherish.
I promise to cherish,
Love and care for you.
Victoria, I give you this ring
As a sign of my love
as a sign of my love
and as a symbol of our marriage.
and as a symbol of our marriage.
Mark, I give you this ring
As a sign of my love
as a sign of my love
and as a symbol of our marriage.
and as a symbol of our marriage.
August 27th, 2016. You are indeed lawfully joined in matrimony and are husband and wife together. So congratulations to you both, and Mark, this is your big moment.
Thanks. Why not? Thank you. I'll follow you in a second. Start clap, start clap. Again!
Have we got everyone here? Is everyone here? Okay, stay there. Hands in front. That's it. Are you about to clap?
Oh, sorry, it's a video. Hang on.
Is it a video?
Yeah.
Is it a video? Is that a video?
Don't know me, you might have guessed by that shout from Glossier that my name's Jack.
Hey!
Hey! I'm here as a groomsman for Mark. We're very good friends from school. He asked me to be his master of ceremonies, which was dangerous because I often don't think before I speak and I've got nothing written down. I've actually known Vicky longer than Mark, though we were at school together back in Longhamborough. I've given them a mention. I'm so happy to be here in this beautiful venue with all these beautiful people, and it gives me huge pleasure to welcome for the first time ever Mr. and Mrs. Bauer.
Here somewhere. Good afternoon, everybody. This is a wonderful venue. I'll just check. 24 pages. For those of you, the few of you, after the introduction we have, who don't know me, my name is Phil, proud father of Victoria. Although I dare say you can tell that from my warm, rugged look, because it's brought on by the fact that Victoria and I travelled here in the back of a Fiat 500. And I am not young anymore. Apart from anything else, you may have heard that it more or less caught fire on the way up the road, filled with smoke, and fortunately it cleared just as we got intelligent, mature. I wasn't expecting a laugh. In particular, thoughtful and considerate that. But we've all got Achilles heel, and Mark's is Manchester United. No, they have a big one. He is someone who always enjoys fun and a laugh, just like his dad. Mark has always been there for Victoria. You know, he actually moved to Bath with Victoria, despite working in Reading, and drove there and back to Reading each day. If that isn't an example of true love, I don't know what is. Particularly when we were on the train sometimes, and that's the first great lesson. Victoria and Mark.
I mean, 50% of those I can go with. I have just been passed a note by the venue. Sorry, could the owner of a Fiat 500 broken down on... Just kidding. Okay, one down, two to go. The meat in the speech sandwich, you could say, our little speaker, is the man himself. He's our groom today. We all know him. We all love him. I certainly do. He's a great friend. He's a great bloke. Some people call him Bonky. Some people call him Bowers. One person calls him Turbo. Not quite sure why. I'd like to introduce the man of the hour, the groom, Mr. Mark Bauer.
Thank you, Jack. Doing a great job, mate. And thank you, Phil, for your kind words. I will return the sentiment shortly. So I'd like to begin by saying that the wife and I... We would both like to thank you for joining us to celebrate our special day here in the Chilterns countryside. We chose this area because we lived in South Oxfordshire and Berkshire for nearly 6 years now. We would often do weekend drives into the countryside and soon fell in love with the area. The weather just about be good, I think. It was quite a good period where we all brought us all together in the marquee, so that was great. Not to mention giving ourselves the exciting task of seeing whether we could organise a piss up in a brewery. And you can tell me later if we've done well there. Now we have guests travelled from Norfolk, London, the South Coast, Devon, the West Country, and even Switzerland. So we are really, there you are. So we really are grateful that you've come with us, you've come wherever you've travelled from and joined us today. 13 years, 7 months and 10 days since me and Vicky started our relationship. And I think you'll all agree it's about time. Unfortunately for Vic, my practical side has massively outweighed my romantic side over the years, so apologies for that, and thank you for being so patient. Now, Vic and I both went to the same school. But we were a couple of years apart, and I didn't really know her there. And we met around Christmas time 2002 into 2003, where every Friday night, without fail, me and my friends, and Vicky and her friends, would go out to the Queen's Head. Now, if anyone knows Vicky and her friends, when they get together, they're pretty crazy on a night out.
Nightmare!
But something that intrigued me about Vicky was that she had a shy side to her, which I quite liked, along with her looks, of course. And I would try to catch her eye, but she would never look back at me. And after the 3rd week of this, I thought to myself that either she's very good at playing hard to get, or she was a little bit creeped out by me. So we finally got chatting, and we realised we had a lot in common, talking about our mutual love for The Office, Alan Partridge, Back to the Future, also our similar taste in music, and Vic's rather odd obsession with Tom Hanks. So I asked her out, but she kept me waiting a few weeks for, although she was doing exams, so I did let her off. Take things as they go, which might explain why we've been together so long. But the evening we got engaged, we started revealing to each other how we had imagined our wedding day to be. And when we got into the topic of bridesmaids, I was expecting her to say 3, 4. Vicky said 8. And from that moment onwards, I knew this wasn't going to be a wedding done on a cheap. But when she explained to me who they were, it made total sense to me, with old friends she has known from play school to university friends and close family. So to the bridesmaids, you all look amazing in your long floral and blue dresses. We've both had so many great times with you all, and thank you for giving Vic great support and love always, and also for throwing her what looked like a great, fantastic hen do. Permission to marry your daughter. You have brought up an incredibly bright, caring and creative daughter, even if she comes with a lot of stuff. As I soon came to realise, and my dad will also know, on the first day we moved in together. You have helped and supported us so much throughout our relationship, and I always look forward to coming around with some homemade cake and a cup of tea. Has to be a cup, eh, Phil? I truly couldn't ask for better in-laws, so thank you for everything you've done for us. Mum and Dad, I want to thank you for getting together the way you did all those years ago. I'm not going to go into details. But for my dad to go from living on his own to bringing up my brother and sister and then me arriving into the world, I think it was an amazing thing to do. Mum, I'll always remember you being around when I got home from school and always being there for us. Dad, I now thank you for instilling a strong work ethic in me, which can be traced back to a conversation we had when I was a child, which went something like, "How old are you now?" 10. Well, it's about time you got out there and worked, isn't it? You can have your brother his paper out. And while I wasn't thrilled about it at the time, I'd much rather be playing football with my mates. I'm pretty sure it's helped me somehow. And even though I copied my brother and sister when I was young by calling you Steve, I want you to know that I always knew you as Dad.
Thank you very much, Jack. Welcome. Oh, this is nice. Hi, so I'm Seth, and I'm the best man. I didn't need to say that bit actually, because it's pretty clear. I'm an old friend of Mark's, that's also actually been talked about. I've known him for about 25 years, so a very old friend. And it's a pleasure to be the best man today. Well, more specifically, it was a pleasure to be asked to be the best man. Obviously, the reality is just terrifying. I'm not used to public speaking. I'm a psychotherapist, and that's my job, which in some ways is kind of the opposite. I'm used to listening to one other person telling me about how awful things are. I'm not used to talking in front of lots of people about something so happy as Mark and Vicky getting married. It's very different. So if those of you at the back can't hear what I'm saying, the silence at the front should reassure you you're not missing anything. But don't worry, this won't go on for too long. You only have to put up with this for a few minutes, and if you're slightly tipsy, it'll probably be more enjoyable. And no, I'm not talking about what Bauer might say to Vicky later tonight. But it is a pleasure and an honour to be Mark's best man. He's a wonderful friend, and I couldn't be happier for him and Vicky. So the thank yous. Thanks to the bridesmaids for all they've done and looking so fabulous whilst doing it. And thanks to the ushers for being surprisingly competent. Also, many thanks to the parents of the happy couple for all you've done too, which I'm sure is more than I could possibly imagine. I also wanted to say something briefly about Vicky. We've heard about her already in the previous speeches from Phil and Mark, and in a sense it's quite hard to add anything to them. But I just wanted to say that I think I speak for everyone here who knows her when I say that Vicky is someone whose gentle kindness is so readily felt when being with her. She has so much time for other people. She is unassuming and modest, even though she is intelligent, loads of fun to be with, and as we can all see, very beautiful. I think we can all agree that Mark is very lucky. Just by looking at them, just by looking at them, both next to each other, we can definitely agree on that. He is the lucky one. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses one more time to the gorgeous bride, to Vicky. You can all hear me, right? And so on to the groom.
Oh no.
So I think we all know that traditionally the best man speech is an opportunity to have a bit of a laugh in the nicest possible way at the groom's expense. Or at least to tell a few stories that reveal a different side to him from the kind, coherent and generally responsible son-in-law persona that he spent so much time cultivating recently. So that is what we're doing. Jack alluded to this earlier. When I first thought about what I might want to say about him today, the issue that presented itself was what to call him in the speech. Because he's been known by many names over the years. Apart from Mark, he's been commonly known as Bauer, and then Bowers with an S, then Bonky, as his dad Steve is also known. He's then also been known as Turbo, although perhaps only to Mark Holyfield. And more recently, he's been known as John Ball. You might think that having so many nicknames suggests a certain complexity of character, a depth to his personality. You would, of course, be wrong. Take the name Bowers, for instance. Up until the time we left school, Mark was simply referred to as Bauer, without the S. It was nice and straightforward. However, around that time, Mark began, somewhat surprisingly I thought, to insist upon being called not Bauer any longer, but Bowers. with an S. He certainly felt quite strongly about it. So much so that he'd often referred to himself in the third person, calling himself Bowers. Those were good conversations. Why was this? Well, you might argue otherwise, but I think the only reason he could have been so adamant about being called Bowers was because of his admiration for someone he should never have held in such high esteem. You know where this is going. Okay. That person he admired so much was a guy called Dane Bowers. From the boy band at Another Level. Who achieved a degree of fame for dating Jordan, or Katie Price if you prefer, after starring in Celebrity Big Brother. For those of you that have never heard of Dane Bowers or Another Level, well, you're very lucky, and I envy you greatly. Mark might say that wasn't the reason why, that it was just a coincidence, that his surname was so similar anyway. Of course he would. Why would anyone admit to liking Dane Bowers so much that they wanted to modify their name to be more like him? But perhaps this is unfair, to focus on something relatively minor like that. What can I say about this organising lads' holidays in exotic destinations, such as Greece, Spain, and Newquay? There are many fond memories from these holidays, and also some things we have tried quite hard to forget. Loud quality is way overdue. One which Bauer, I'm sure, wishes to forget, Jack fortunately remembers, and which he recently reminded me about. It was 2006 and we were in Greece. Bowers and Jack were the last to return one night, having been reluctant to leave the local nightclub Amnesia, which I think, thankfully for us all on that holiday, has ultimately lived up to its name. Stumbling back to the hotel and talking about their annoyance that they were sleeping in too long in the morning and missing time by the pool, Bowers had the brainwave of just sleeping on the sun lounges. So when waking up, they would already be by the pool, thereby saving crucial time. Clearly, being a good idea, Mark and Jack settled down for the night.
Separate sun lounges.
Fast forward a few hours, and the plan was looking quite so clever. The sun was beating down, it was hot. Bowers and Jack were sunburnt, hungover, and dehydrated. Jack recalls how on waking up, he saw Bowers groggy and also slowly awakening, with an accusing pool of vomit lying next to him. It wasn't a good start to the day. Worse still, the area was beginning to fill up with other holiday makers. A toddler, innocent and naive, took an interest in Bowers and ambled up towards him, only for the young boy's mother to swiftly and very sensibly intervene, grabbing her son and telling him to stay away from that strange man. Bowers, shamed, stumbled away with Jack from the poolside, desperate to seek refuge in their rooms, only to somehow enter the wrong room, literally walking right in before realising it's a family getting ready for a day. And not the rest of the lads as they thought.
Is everyone basic cake for this?
Something while we take photos.
Right. Yeah. They're not here, it's their fault.
Come on! Keep going!
I don't know who brought this one, but we'll do this one as well. That's for the children.
Got the cupcakes and they're friendly about it.
Yeah. The cut here, guys. The cut
Next one! There's one round here.
That's nice for everyone, isn't it?
First dance. Come on.
Congratulations! Come on!
Come on, ladies, we're going.
Married! You are married! Love it, Matt. You love it. How the bar stuff getting on? I love it.
I want this.
How about you, talk us through your
Slightly different version for you, but this is Drunk in Love. Brian Simpson's request.
I know it's the last song. Going minesweeping. Find the streets. I don't think anyone knows. I don't think anyone knows this song.
Back all over that mouth that you had all in the car, talking about get it back, the smoke, Doing everything for me, I would thank you.